This podcast is brought to you by the Disabled But Not Really Foundation, a local Kansas City nonprofit organization that pushes to instill a physical limitless mindset that breeds courage, confidence, and competence within the disabled community. You can follow and support Disabled But Not Really on social media or go visit their website at disabledbutnotreally.org. Their work and their mission is to really impact communities and make more people understand the benefits of inclusivity. To right now, so
I'm gonna echo that too. I'm willing that I'm doing a self-care weekend with some work, but it's not so much work when it's wrapped around care, and it feels really, it's such a blessing to have the opportunity to step away and disengage from the responsibilities of life, so the kids are okay, the family's okay, work stuff's okay, and it's just good to reset. So Wes and I are here. It's Mental Health Awareness Month, and you all know, those who follow us, those who don't, if you're jumping on, we're on LinkedIn for the first time today. So good morning, LinkedIn.
What's up, LinkedIn?
We're really excited to be on this platform. It's Mental Health Awareness Month. And again, Wes, as we were talking in the pre-talk, the reason we all came together is because we believe that mental health, physical health, spirit, mind, body, and soul is for everybody. And it should be accessible for everybody. The practices are inclusive for everybody. And Wesley and I both hadn't grown up or seen a reflection of that in our communities. We have and we haven't, right?
Yeah.
So we're here because as we strive to move forward in a successful manner, speaking, Wes, I saw the big talk you did this month.
Hey.
I'm going to, prop myself up. I was able to speak to the faculty and staff at Pace University in New York this month.
Oh, nice.
Talking about DEIJ in technology to educators and academia and to students and staff. And it's beautiful, right, to bring ourselves into those spaces to help encourage and support other people.
Yes.
But we need our sanity too, right?
Oh, yeah, because there's definitely a lot of pressure when, I do an hour keynote, and I think just the pressure that you feel building up to it and then letting it out and then consuming the energy that you have to receive after of how others received your message. I think that is a lot when it comes to like mental health. It's like you're going to heal and push a message out to, help others in a sense in any way. I think anything with dealing with change is betterment of mental health, because change, I think confusion, right? Like confusion, doubt, overlapping of like being overwhelmed or signs that you need to take care of your mental health. And in a workforce, especially, I think a lot of people feel a lot of pressure, and around conversations of DEI, right? So no, I just think that like my talk spoke to over, I think it was 1,100 people, and even just preparing for it, you would get messages prior, and people are like, well, this is going to be one of them groups. And I'm like, I'm ready for it, but I had to really go back and give myself time, because it is important to make sure that you are healing yourself in the process of trying to help heal others.
Yeah. I relate to that so much. And I think this could be a way you and I can dive into more conversations. But in my experience this month too, I was preparing, you have to get your slide deck together, and write out your talk and the outline and everything. And I bring that mindfulness aspect, right? So I was talking about incorporating diversity, equity, inclusion, and justice in a mindful manner. So you truly authentically bring it into what you do, because if you don't embody it, you're really not going to execute it. But when I tell you, I got on the call because we did it virtually, and I saw a colleague of mine, and I told her, I said, I feel like a hot ball of wax. Like, I was so nervous because the audience, right? It's like, I don't have a PhD. I'm not academia. And I wanted to give them what they needed. And Wes, when it was done, my shoulders were like, and it was so well received. But I realized even after the things that I teach, meditate, decompress, breathe, I was so tense, and it was disturbing my mental health because I began to, that self-talk, like, am I saying the right thing? Am I doing the right thing? Am I presenting the right way? And I almost was trying to put myself in this other category and not be real. So it affected my mental health. So how did you deal with it? What practices did you do? I know I was breathing through it. I was talking to my support person, and
Yeah.
one foot for the other. What about you?
It's great. It's it's funny. It's funny because I did a different set of practices this time when
let me hear.
Okay. I have been listening to a podcast by a guy named Jay Shetty.
And I've been listening to that too. I think I told you, and he and I hadn't spoken about it. I've been following him for a couple of years or so, but I've been listening to his podcast the last few months. Okay, I'll be quiet.
So he just talked a lot about meditation and calmness, and that's what I did before I spoke. But that week, I had started to listen to meditation music and trying to find myself being grounded in just tone, and I think that, doing that before I spoke and then giving myself time to breathe, it helped me so much. Like, I felt like I got on that stage and did, you always feel like you critique yourself. But I felt like I did an amazing job because I took care of me first.
Yeah.
And I took care of me in a way that I really knew, or understood the benefit of what it was going to do for me. So it was like that 20 minutes until I'm like, have my AirPods on, I'm listening to this tranquility music and sounds, and then I go right into just breathing and meditating for another 10 minutes, and I just think that alone was like, just set the tone for me.
That's awesome. I saw you did a post where you're like meditating. I was like, I'm so proud of him.
Hold on, I'm gonna let you keep talking. I gotta go shut my door. I have California bugs.
Yeah. And I'll let you guys know that too. Usually Wes is in Kansas City and I am in Pittsburgh. Wes is in Los Angeles right now. So for the early birds, it's 7:11 a.m. on that coast. I am back in my old stomping grounds. I'm actually in Atlanta, Georgia, in Decatur, actually. And I used to live here for 12 years. And so I've been doing just a little retreat to take care of myself. So we both encourage people to travel, to connect with your roots, connect with people, follow your passions. And that's a way of taking care of yourself. And I want to also go off of what Wes was saying, that deep breathing, that meditation. You guys, when you practice that, and I say you guys, whoever's out there, if anyone's listening today, now, or even in a recording, it's an opportunity. You literally slow your heart rate down. when you take deep breaths.
Mm-hmm.
Breathing is an autonomic function. It's a function that your body's going to do no matter what. And in doing that, you really decrease stress. So that adrenaline, that cortisol, all of those, there's a lot of physiological actions that happen in your body that serve a great purpose. But when there's chronic stress, heavy stress, you won't have the capacity to think clearly.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt the same way to Wes. When I had my talk, I felt like I got into the flow,
Mm-hmm.
right? You get into that flow, and it feels good. Like your heart feels good, your spirit feels good,
You
and
know,
that's important.
I was just thinking about. I've been directing my message a lot to help people figure out who they are inside. Um, I think my last few talks, I've even spoke the I am poem,
Yes.
and it feels good speaking it. Like I've even came to a point where I think I can go back and even change things, from the poem. But really, like, you can't, until people understand who they are and why they have their opinions, perceptions of the world, they won't change their mind to make things better, and I think that it doesn't matter what your outlook on life is. You need to understand who you truly are, because knowing yourself removes judgment, brings in love and empathy. That's organically done once you find yourself.
Yeah.
And finding yourself means loving yourself. And when you love yourself, you have to accept flaws that you might have judged from others. And I think that's where people struggle with mental health. It's because and we're looking at a reflection. We're looking at ourselves from a reflection of other people's opinions, not a reflection in the mirror.
Mm. Oh, that's
And
good.
And I think that has been where people mental health becomes defeated, because they're not looking in the mirror to fix themselves. They're actually fixing themselves for the people that they feel like, the image that other people see.
Yeah.
And so lately I've just really been, one, understanding myself more, but telling other people, like, I can't. It's like this. Having a disability allows me to see the power in adversity, and what true acceptance is. Like, I love my being and myself, and I practice mental health and self care because I pay attention to my reflection in the mirror, and I want to make myself better despite whatever limitations I have. And I think that, when I go in that direction, it gives me like fulfillment, right? And so my point is that in order for anything to get better, we have to get better. And when we think of mental health, it's physical, mental, and emotional, right? Like, and it's like, what are you doing for your mental? What are you doing for your emotional? And then what are you doing for your physical? Because all of those things matter. Most people, I always tell my friends in the gym, I'm like, I know a lot of people that work out that are depressed,
Yes, I do too. That are really struggling
and
with issues.
most of them are insecure.
Hmm.
Most of them are battling things that you wouldn't even see. Like, dude, like, I got guys. I'm like, man, your body look good, bro. Like, your body looks amazing, but you have not did the work on your mind and your emotions as you've done with your physical body, because your perception or your outlook is what you want people to see and not how you feel, right? And so I'm big right now, April, on, I found myself more this year too. Let's just be transparent. Like, I lost, and I've been more blunt about it, of losing my grandmother December 22nd, and then my agent taking her life December 30th, right? Like, and then me going through a process of, well, I have to still do work and I have to still do these obligations. So I never give myself time to heal. And then all of those that know me and know what I'm going through, right, aren't allowing me to heal either because they expect things from me.
Yeah.
And so, like, for me, like, I have to be very open about that to go back into, like, so when I tell people, you know, when you go and you start to build your body and you're not building your mind and you're not building your emotions, then you become something that is broken even more. And I had to go and dial back and actually understand that I was broken and find myself through these things. And I stopped working out as much and I started to pay attention to my mental and emotional health. Like, I even had to change the way I was talking to my daughter for a second because I realized I was talking out of hurt more than I was talking out of growth and, like, as a parent. You know, this is like one of those subjects that I've probably been wanting to talk about. So if y'all hear me going like here and there, it's like it's really been on my heart to talk about mental health from a very authentic point of view and not sugarcoat it, because I think it wasn't until this year that I understood that if you don't take care of you, then people will take like, what's that word I'm trying to get? It's not coming, but if you don't take care of you, you give people power over you.
Right.
And I gave a lot of people power over me and they used me. And that's why I'm in LA, everybody, because I found my peace and I found my happiness. I didn't want to take it down like one of them roads, like, oh no, it's not about to get like that, y'all. No, literally, when I came to and I started taking care of my mental and emotional health, I realized that I needed to get away from the things that was holding me down, you know, and not allowing me to be my true self and authentic self. And so, yeah. I whatever thought I was trying to hit is gonna come back, but I'm gonna let you hit
Yeah.
next.
So it's interesting because I hear you, and I also when I hear, like, we have this perception of ourselves based on other people's perceptions, and leaving, like, for me, I left Los Angeles, like, I left home and forged a different path. And maybe if I had kept home, I would have stayed in this space of just being there. And there's nothing bad or negative about it, but I probably wouldn't have grown in such a different way because I was limiting myself, right? And it's so important to take care of ourselves. Like, I went to the past couple of weeks, I've been poked, prodded, rolled around, all the things to take care of my physical health. You know, so everybody, men get your prostate exams, women get your mammograms, everybody get a colonoscopy, you know, starting at 45, like, take care of your physical health. But yeah, your mental health is important. And it's okay to say I'm broken. It's okay to say, you know, I'm not okay. I was talking with somebody, and mental health, there are so many variances in mental health, and, you know, people have disabilities. That's one spectrum. You might think you're okay, you don't have any neurodiverse issues, and you might find, like, you know, actually I do. There could be a chemical imbalance. So really, like, check in with somebody, check in with a therapist, check in with a counselor, or, you know, do some reading or listen to some podcast or journal, or check in with your own self. I like how you said you checked in with yourself with your daughter, like you checked in, because I do the same. If I'm yelling at everybody and popping off on everybody, I'm realizing, or I realize, like, if everyone's snapping at me, like, okay, fine, I'll do it then. I'm like, the conversation, I realize I'm not edifying myself, nor am I edifying them. And what really is the issue. And, you know, for parents, for Black people, I think that we are taught sacrifice. You know, we look at our past, like, well, my mama cooked and cleaned. She was single. She worked 3 jobs. She sacrificed, and she is a strong woman, and she is a great woman, and she did this and did that. And it's like, well, my mom died young. My mom died of cancer. My mom died of stress. um, there are great attributes to what they did, but what can we learn from that? How can we learn to take care of ourselves? How can we learn to set boundaries, right? How can we learn to sacrifice in the ways that we want to sacrifice that support us and support other people? Because if you keep doing things at the expense of your sanity,
Yeah.
after a while, we're all going to just continue this cycle of just being unhealthy.
It's definitely unhealthy when you don't take care of yourself and you don't take care of everything about yourself, or you feel like you have so many obligations for other people and other things that you don't have time for you. And I mean, of course, for my life constantly growing, my platform growing, um, I did for a minute feel like I had obligations. But as a black disabled man, especially coming from, the streets, I mean, every opportunity that's set in front of me is an opportunity that I never saw. And I didn't, and it's an opportunity that I don't see other people receiving if I don't accept it and open the door. Right.
Mm.
And so I had to even come to that because it's an Instagram reel, and it's like a sound audio that people use, and it's like, show a time when you were at your lowest but nobody knew. And I wanted to show from January to March of this year. Right? Like I really wanted to just show every accomplishment that I made. I mean, I did a lot of collaborations. I mean, I was in LA 2-3 times shooting, and I was hurt every time. I wasn't healed every time. I put on a shield in a sense, and I went in for that hour or those 2-3 hours of shooting, and then I went into a hole, or I even found myself drinking more. Like these last 2-3 weeks, I haven't even really drunk. We had mimosa like Saturday at the apartment yesterday, but other than that, like I haven't, because I understood that I was drinking out of pain. And like I was looking at my body, and my physical body was changing, but even though I was working out, I wasn't putting down or rejecting the happy hours and it was like people like, oh man, you out, and you always see me with a drink, and I was like, I was washing my pain away because the obligations of that I felt like I had to hold was really tearing me down. And I went through, like, I remember venting to my mom a couple times. And even at that point, I realized that as I was venting, no one was going to help me heal unless I did it for myself. And that was when I started to take more time for myself. But it was just, it's like, as Black men, I always have to look at me as a Black man first before a man with a disability. But then I look at like the community I was brought up in. There's a lot of pressure because my community, a lot of them still might not see a way out. And a lot of people don't pay attention to the journey as much as they just focus on your rewards. And, for me, that was pressure too, because it's like, I didn't just go to college. I didn't just go get this degree. My mom and parents didn't put me in a private school, and I'm speaking on the terms of some individuals that's from my community that did become successful because they went through a journey of, let's get you out the public system. Let's take you off the streets. Let's get you in a good school, and you got a great job, but you didn't live what I lived, and for me, that's pressure too. And like for most Black men, they live the life that I used to live, especially like everyone's not benefit. Everyone doesn't benefit from the college education. Most people benefit from the street education, but those individuals are either dead or in jail. And I always look at being proud that I made it out, but me making it out separates me from so many. Like
Yeah.
I don't even. I definitely have imposter syndrome when I go places because I could be in a room full of Black people, but we don't relate. We relate being Black, but there's not so much relation because they still look down on the community that I'm proud of.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? And so that had messed up my mental health for a while too, because I'm like, you know how when you hear conversations of people that are biracial, because my daughter is, right? And so it's like, man, I don't know if I'm this, that at times, or can I be both? And I'm like, I don't know if I can speak from an educated point of view, because now I am very educated, maybe from my own self-education, or do I want to speak from a street point of view, or because I'm a motivational speaker, that people think that I went through all these channels, right? But they don't pay attention to the hood street life. So I was talking to one of my athletes. I said, I can give you a whole speech and go to the car and listen to Nipsey Hussle. It doesn't change what I told you. It doesn't change the message that I feel inside, but it will change the way you see me, because you look down on that community that music might represent.
Ooh, that's a footnote. And like, this is going to go full circle back to like you doing your talks, right?
Yeah.
And presenting and being authentic, right? True to who you are. Like you put pictures up of you throwing up the finger and you
Yes.
like, da, da, da. And there's room for all of it. And like, you know, I know this could be taboo, but like that whole thing that happened with, you know, Will Smith and Chris Rock, like those are two Black men who were engaged in that situation. And I had just finished Will Smith's book, finished it a while before me. And I thought it was so enlightening because I saw all of that. I wasn't so surprised because there's such a history, and there's a history of trauma, right? And there's a history of he was from the hood in Philly and then elevated to this place that a lot of us will not touch.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, you know,
Yeah.
And all of that makes us who we are. Or I've watched Kanye West's documentary.
Yes.
We talked about that, right? And we can vilify him. We can see the bad in him. We can see the genius in him. Yeah. And even in that documentary, you guys were talking about mental health. And like one of his closest friends per se was like, I shut the camera off.
Yeah.
When he saw he was having that episode a few times. Mental health is real in our community. And I use those two Black men as an example because you brought that up. And it's Black men for sure. It's Black women for sure. Those are disabilities that we are all working to overcome. I grew up in LA, and I didn't grow up in Beverly Hills or West LA. Like when you guys, Wes knows, you talk about Crenshaw, like I used to take the bus on Crenshaw. I walked up and down Crenshaw. Like, what do you want to know, Crenshaw? I know it from Wilshire all the way to the South Bay. We still have a house on Obama. Like, you know, a friend, she teases me. She's like, you say you're from LA, but I think you're kind of Compton. Like when that we've had to accept and we've had to grapple with because some people we have to hide some of that or put some of that away because it's not acceptable or it's not appropriate. And I want to ask you about, you know, Quincy shared with me as soon as Kendrick's song came out, The Heart Part 5. And I listened to it and I watched it and he was like, babe, did you see his face morph? And I was like, oh, I missed that whole thing. So I had to go back and watch it. But what you're saying to me reflects what that artist was saying too.
Yeah, I mean, and definitely, you know, and of course I listen to lyrics different. I love conscious music. So for me, I was driving with my daughter, like maybe the second time I heard it, and I got real emotional, because that is a healing song. And a lot of people won't understand it because they're not healed. And what I mean by that is because I see a lot of different, you know, critique for it. And I mean, even the Nip part, I know a lot of people love the Nip tribute, but if you listen to the words of becoming a vessel to planting the seed and understanding the greatness that you have, like it was very powerful for me. But I can definitely say like, uh, yeah, it was just a message. I mean, I love definitely like the whole CD. I've been listening to it,
I
you know.
haven't listened to the CD at all. And for one, so Kendrick Lamar is an artist. He's a poet. He's a Pulitzer Prize winning artist. And I agree. He is truly, I guess, conscious for
Yeah.
sure. If you put him in different categories, he's from Los Angeles, California, just so you guys.
Yeah, right.
But I think it's so important that we give artists their due because they do reflect a lot of what we're going through. And when we're talking about this mental health awareness, like you said, it drove you to this emotional space where you are able to release. And I encourage all of us to find what it is that can help you connect and release. If it's a song, if it's a book, if it's a painting, if it's I don't know, a dance movement. There's power in that because to shift energies and to move from glory to glory, it takes movement.
Yeah.
Of some kind. And I think that's a big part of mental health. But I just love, and when we talk about, it's for all of us, you guys, disabled or not disabled. I mean, there are all things that we're working through each, because we're all human beings.
Yes. No, I think, it's something that I listened to. It could have been Jay Shetty. Like, I've definitely been loving everything that he's been speaking.
And I put his link there, and maybe someone listening, we have Marissa in the background. She might be able to post it on a chat somewhere. But yeah, go ahead. I just want people to know that we're sharing these people.
And I mean, I'm definitely a fan of a lot of other podcasts, but I guess coming from him going through like a monk practice and becoming a monk, but also like his just view and outlook on the world, it really takes a person to understand themselves, to understand the world around you. And I think that, again, like my conversation probably always keep going back to just you and who you are, because that's what matters. Like, because, if I was talking about souls the other day, and I said, when I'm like right now, I mean, I get to see my beautiful face off of the camera. But if there was no camera or mirror around me, the only thing that would be speaking to you that I could feel would be my soul, right? That means that even in any situation, my body could get banged up, my face could get banged up, right? My soul would be the only thing that I can really feel and see. But we care about the outer body because of the image that other people recognize. But if you let your soul speak at all times, then you don't care about the outer body. And I was telling somebody, I said, man, somebody could tear my whole face up, put me in a room, and the only thing I know is that I'm speaking to you through my soul. But until you actually put on the image that you see, that's the only way that I start to embody it. But before that, I'm only embodying my soul. And that's what speaks. That's what I feel. That's what I see. Right? And I think that, like, even the eyes, right? Like, it's like, if we all of us just like, not even look, and we just look to a different side, I don't see me.
Right.
right? But my soul is so that means my soul can go into another body and it still be me. So it's like, so you have to be you because your soul is you. Your image can be anybody. People can go get plastic surgery and look like somebody else.
Completely change. And
But
they
their soul is still their soul, right? So like your mental health is so important because that's your soul that you're taking care of.
yeah.
Because if you are putting a mask over your soul, then you're not giving yourself to people. And what that does is it has all these bad, I don't want to get the word wrong, but the way it's received, when people receive the energy, fake energy, they don't understand authentic energy.
Yeah.
So then they transition that energy into what they see in their life. So that's why you see African American males being influenced by negativity all the time. They don't see their soul speaking. They see the image that's already been influenced for them.
And in a society that doesn't value or reflect our brownness, our blackness, our in media, in all these other places, there's not a good reflection because they are they're customizing what they want us to see. And when I say they, owners of TV stations, owners of media, our history in America has been one of oppression, period.
So it's
And
a mask. It's a mask that they created for us, and we take each mask. Oh, I want to be this person. I want to be this person. But who are you?
yeah.
Because most Black people don't speak from a I am point of view.
Yeah. And that I Am poem, like that was one of, we've had so many people. So this is not to say, like Wes and I started on this journey in 2019, 2020, which is crazy. It feels like it's gone so fast. And we've had so many wonderful people. And he and I know I've learned so much. You've learned so much. Each person has been valuable and incredible. I will put an exclamation point on that I Am poem and that piece that we did with Calling It Up with Trish and Aida has like changed our life. I almost texted you one day in preparing for a talk. And I'm teaching like a class at the city of Pittsburgh. I was going to text you like, should I use the I Am poem? What do you think? Are you still using it? Like it changed who we are. And every time too, like when I speak it, when I'm able to say, I'm 6 generations out of slavery, like that hits me every single time. It's so important that we know who we are because how do we know if our mental health is okay if we don't even know what we're thinking or how we're feeling?
My mental health wasn't, I definitely understand what all of that means. And that I Am poem did give me my power back. I love to say that I'm, the descendant of slaves, the workers in the kitchen, the visionaries of the Underground Railroad.
Yeah.
Like for me, because I'm a visionary, I'm a creator. Like, so my roots has to be instilled into those that was decoding the system, right? And I think that, like for us, I think the defeating thing is that we don't know how to take the power of the culture that made us.
Ooh, we should quote that.
What's
the quote?
We don't know how to take the power of the culture that made us, because I was telling someone it's the culture in us that people are trying to take away from us.
Well, you said there.
But that's what made us, right?
And you can't take it away from us. It's who we are.
It's who we are, but it's intimidating to someone else. But it's not intimidating when I hear the music every time I hear it going down the hallways. It's not intimidating when I watch TikTok and everybody's dancing to it. It's not intimidating then, but it becomes intimidating when I say I am
that.
Exactly. And so even for me, it's I just recently got a presentation, and I'm cool with the transparency, but they had me remove all the middle finger pictures, right? And it was because it was going to, like, they shifted the whole conference. I'm gonna be honest. I was supposed to speak to a whole Black group, and they changed it all. Like, and so now it's more broad. So even from that point, you know what I mean? I felt like y'all were trying, like I told them, like it felt like you were trying to cloud who I am, because I'm speaking from a culture of people that you still look down on. And if I'm the example of truth and change of these individuals, you don't want people to see it because you still think they hopeless. They're only hopeless because you ain't gave them the power to heal, because the power that you have has put a mask on them to where they stay broken.
Right. They're
And
trying
like,
to extract pieces of you and to take you out of being able to tell the truth. And that's what we're talking about. So then, do you put on a mask? It's that. So I'm so glad you said that. And, in the last couple of things that I've been doing, I did a talk about justice, and that graphic where 3 or 4 people are standing at a fence and they're different heights and stuff. Can't see through the fence. So they're like, well, equity is giving everybody boxes that they can use for their levels. But then I saw a graphic where the last box was somebody on a wheelchair, and it was a ramp up to the top box. I had never seen that before. And I wasn't talking to a group of people about disability awareness or anything. But why weren't we talking about that in the context of what we're talking about? You know what I mean? Like, that's what equity looks like for everybody. And then just taking the fence down as a part of it. I did another talk, and I showed a video clip, and it was an animation, and the kid had on a colonoscopy. I'm probably saying it wrong, but the bag. And I shared that because let's not hide this. This is real life. These are things that we all go through with ourselves, with other human beings. We're not going to extract any of this or hide any of this. And how do we make it so? Well, it shouldn't be incumbent on you, Wes, or me.
Yeah, definitely.
It's on others.
But I think people just scared. Like, I see a lot of other cultures being embraced because of things, the value that they can bring. Right? I don't see the Black culture being embraced because of the power it will bring.
Yeah. Or we're told our stuff is not so valuable until other people are pumping up their lips and tanning their skin and wearing the jewelry.
Or changing our music.
Making a lot of money on our music on TikTok.
So, I mean, and, so full transparency, like, I've done Disabled But Not Really has a 8-week program going on, our Help Me Fit Challenge. And it was geared to fitness and nutrition, and that's how it's been the last few years. This year, I decided to do a mental health and gratitude check-in every Friday. And I want to say that maybe that's the reason why I'm speaking more from a healing state than a broken state, because I've been able to have conversations with individuals that face adversity, and we've been able to really help each other. But I want to say, like, just from that conversation, we had one about culture. And when we got done with it, until you can actually embrace your culture, it's hard to know who you are. And it's because other people haven't embraced your culture. So you embrace, it's like being with family, right? We're somebody different when we're with family and friends than we are in the office place, which is fine to a level, right? Because who my family and friends are comfortable with, I want you to be comfortable with.
Right.
Because I'm no different. I'm no different. I might speak a little different for you, but I'm no different up here. But until I actually can show that, because I don't care how you think, because I know what I can bring, we find ourselves becoming that bubble that busts right at the wrong time.
Oh, and that's so back to our mental health, right? And I submit that it's so important for all of us to give ourselves grace when that happens and compassion because of what Wesley just said. We are challenged to accept who we are and be who we are. And I think you and I both have that belief. Like, you've been around my family, I've been around you. Like, we try. I don't even want to say we try. We just are who we are. And like, this conversation we're having, I can have with him at a table by the beach or in Pittsburgh or somewhere else, and ditto. But there have been instances where I've suppressed myself, or I've put myself, I've made myself small, and you can only take so much, and you hold that energy in and you will explode, and it will be at the weirdest time. You're like, somebody just said boo to you and you just completely raged and cussed them out. And
or you slap a motherfucker on the Oscars. Excuse me, French. I'm just saying.
That's what happens with mental health. It's like, it's so nuanced, and taking care of ourselves is so important. That's what we want to talk about. And it's important in your family life. It's important in your professional life. It's important in your communal life, right? Like, you bring yourself into every situation, and the brain is so interesting that if you aren't able to sit still and really hear and listen to yourself, it can go, right? Like,
I love April. I love that. I don't know how long this is gonna last, but right now this is my direction at the crib in LA. No TV. I just want to be surrounded by books and silence, in a sense, because I want to be able to be at peace with myself without the distraction, so that I can understand myself more. And so, like what you're saying, like that stillness, like I can move around. I have too many human interactions. That's TV to me.
mm-hmm. Me too.
So when I come back home, do I need to give myself, am I giving myself more value by distracting myself more? Or do I give myself time? And so, like, for me, it's like, I'd rather just give myself time, go out, look at my views. But that's where I am right now, is because I think that, and then the other thing, because April did speak about family, be understanding that your mental health might put you in a position where you have to separate yourself from those that aren't helping it get better. And because we can receive other people's energy, and when we receive their energy, especially if you're an empath or something like maybe like me or April, we are healers. We try to help others. We're givers. And we can continue doing that and serving, and then it becomes exhausting. They always say, like, check on your strong friends, because your strong friends are the ones that are trying to help guide you. But after a while, they need you to show some type of healness, or healing, because then they consume all your hurt and pain. And that can be draining for those that are trying to elevate. And again, all these are things when it comes to mental health: draining, depression, right? Mental health. Like, so just understand, like, this whole conversation, like, if you're not your whole self when you wake up, if you're not feeling so good about life and can speak it in a way that you go out the door at 6 a.m. and you speak in life to everybody, like, you feel good. Take some time to yourself.
Yeah.
Right? Like, take some time to, why don't I feel good this morning?
Right. And it's okay. It's okay to check in. I want to share, we're talking about reading, and I did a little spelling error. I've been reading a book I've had for a while. It's called Passage Meditation by Eknath S. Warren. And I've been reading it a lot and sharing it with one organization I work with. We have a weekly meeting, and we do I call it I don't call it a calling in and up, but it's a coming together and welcoming. And we always do a mindfulness piece. And this is like people in tech, corporate people. We do this every single week, and they look forward to it now. So meditating, you guys, is a really good practice. And if you are scared to do it, or you think you don't do it, anytime you focus your thoughts on something repetitively, that's what meditation is. And you can do it for a minute to 2 minutes to 3 minutes to 30 minutes to an hour. And it's a training. It takes time to learn how to do it. This guy is an Indian author. He had the first accredited university course at UC Berkeley in meditation years ago. So his book, Passage Meditation, is about meditating on a mantra or a passage or a Bible verse and just repeating it over and over again in your mind. But he had a thing on slowing down. And I want to read it if you would like to hear. How can we slow down? If we want freedom of action, good relations with others, health and vitality, calmness of mind, and the ability to grow, we have to learn to slow down. We simply cannot afford to pay the price of hurry, however attractive the packaging. The price is our very life. In the words of Thoreau, it comes to mind when he says, I have no time to be in a hurry. But it is not just enough to say this and put it on a sticker and put it on our car. You're dealing with deeply imprinted patterns of behavior and long-standing habits. You need to have a strategy, take practical steps, and be prepared for a long struggle. Though the benefits will accumulate as soon as we begin, it is we who must assume the responsibility for changing these habits, for learning to slow down.
Oh, that was so good. That was good. I think I liked it all. Okay. Can you tell? Hold on. No.
Okay.
Just can you tell my energy just shifted a little bit? Can you test? So let me tell you why. Because you're telling me to slow down. I'm listening, right? But I got my Twitter fingers moving, y'all. So my Twitter. So this is mental health. Cause like now I have to slow down. So I'm like, my phone alerts me. I pick it up while you're reading. And I look, and the first thing, of course, normally I just pass it out. So I look and it says, white supremacist gunman kills 10 minority people in mass shooting at Black Buffalo supermarket. And it must have just happened today. If you see, that was what we receive when we see things like this, because it's not shown on a different lens. Those headlines are the same every week, every month, every year.
And it agitates us.
It literally gave me, this is me coming back. And so it was the alignment of the message. Like I slowed down my feelings and emotions to that for a second, to go back to listening to you to find that closure. You know, and I just wanted to see if you caught just the way I started to stumble over my words when I wanted to, respond. But it was because like those headlines, they trigger our mental, because we could see ourselves being in that place.
Yeah.
And we could see our brothers and sisters being in there, and then the fact of what we're talking, the generational trauma comes back.
Yeah. And it's our responsibility not to disregard that in any means, but to take care of ourselves. And so like I just saw you put your phone down and move it away. It's our responsibility to take care of ourselves so that we can better address those types of things, that we can be better prepared to take care of ourselves mentally and physically. I'm chuckling right now because earlier when Wes and I got on, I was like, Wes, we're going to do 45 minutes. We're going to be out. It's now 4 minutes to 11 and we've been like a whole hour. That's how much we really care about this. And we've been doing this for a long time, you guys, and you can go on YouTube and watch clips from past conversations. You can go on Open Up's Instagram page. You can go to Wes Wesley Hamilton's at West Speaks Life Instagram page. I have an Instagram page too, you guys, at Coach April PJ. Followers. Wes got a whole lot of followers. I'm trying. He's been working on me, like just put it out there. But
just put it out there. You healing.
There's an alignment in all of this, you guys. And we came together because we matter. Black people matter. And we're Black centered. And it doesn't mean that it's at the exclusion of anybody else. These are human issues. And this year we look to expand even more and to bring our Latino brothers and sisters, our Asian brothers and sisters. We have guests who have 2 feet and have no feet. You know, we have everybody coming into this space, coming together under this idea that mindfulness matters, our health, mind, body, soul matters. And I'm so glad we had this time together.
I'm grateful. I'm grateful because I've been wanting to talk mental health for a while. I think I'll be doing more with it, understanding that even in the disabled community, it's not talked about enough. The Black community is not, but any minority group or any group, like in human culture, it's not talked about enough. Like I want to just take away, because I feel like if everyone take care of their mental, the world would be such a better place.
So you can do that.
So yeah, take care of yourself. Check out the videos third Sunday every month. We have amazing guests on. We talk a lot of different topics, and most of them are centered around mental health awareness and healing. And there's book references in each one. Yeah. So I highly recommend you guys just, go tap in to the book list, sign up for the newsletter.
Yes. Sign up for that news, and it'll be coming out this month. Wes is a big reader. I'm a big reader. I'm at a friend's house, and she had this book, and I love Adichie, and We Should All Be Feminists. Look how thin that book is. Passage Meditation is the one I read out of for Slow Down. Real quick, Wes, you're listening to Jay Shetty's podcast. What are you reading?
I honestly just finished The Law of Success with Napoleon Hill, and I'm a big Napoleon Hill fan of his philosophy. Yeah. So it was a 25-hour audio book, so it was a little long, but it made me buy the physical book. So now I'm going back in and reading certain chapters that I listened to. So that's kind of my practice right now. I want to be I want to be better in a lot of different spaces or places in my life. And so this book is helping me. And then Black Pearls is just my daily affirmational book that I read every day, 365 days, for those that just need something to uplift you, whether it's in the morning or in the evening. It's something that I can recommend. As I'm speaking about Napoleon Hill, now I'm not reading this book, but as we talk about mental health, one of my favorite books by Napoleon Hill is How to Own Your Own Mind.
Ooh, I'm typing that up in our chat. How to
own your own mind. It's one of the books that I've always referenced to someone else, and I even did like a class and we used that book. But it is definitely, and I think it speaks to what we're doing today. Take ownership and control over yourself and your mental, so that you can give your true, authentic self to the world, because that's what we need. We need people that understand that you are authentic and no one can be you. And so we need to know you.
Yeah. And we need, like you just said, we need to know you, because diversity matters even within our own. Like, what's a man, I am a woman. We bring different perspectives here, and it's so important. We don't all need to think alike and be alike. Life is about diversity. There's different trees, there are different flowers, there are different landscapes, and you are important to us. So
I'm big on this fingerprint thing. Our fingerprints aren't the same. And so that's the reason why you should create your own individual self. That's if it's nothing else, we can't match this. If we can't match this, no reason why we should be trying to match anything else. Be yourself. I'm telling you, it's a healing thing. I love everybody. Thank you for joining us today. It is 8 o'clock LA time. So I know everybody else is running out on something else, but you see what I'm coming with this early?
The whole day is just nothing but up from here. I'm at 11 o'clock. I've already done my thing too. And let's just all go and be our best selves, wherever that is.
Wherever that is, find your peace, find your place.
All right.
Love you.
Bye. Peace. Thank you for joining us and listening to the podcast. If you would like more information on the guests and the stories that you've heard today, and to hear stories from others, subscribe to the podcast. We also invite you to subscribe to Open Up Pittsburgh's newsletter, as well as our YouTube channel. We want you all to take care, and remember to make your own stories. This is April. Peace.